we're going to end it here. Take it over to Rumble. So there's 1,541 people here. Go on over to Rumble. The link is in the pinned comment. The GoFundMe for James is right there. If anybody wants to support, I'm going to go ahead and put the link one last time to Rumble right here. And now, cheers to Viva Fries. Tears. Trudeau is God. Okay, yeah. I'm sure in his mind he is. All right, people, we are ending it on YouTube, going to Rumble exclusively now. All right, people, let me just make sure that we're still live on the Rumbles. We are still on the Rumbles, yeah. We will make sure, close this down, go here. I will speak like the Klaus Schwab when I make sure that we are still live on the Rumbles, yeah. There we go. Okay, we're good. I see a $20 Rumble rant from Second Amendment or Die. Long-time super chatter, first-time Rumble rant. Congratulations on your Rumble partnership. Thank you very much. I'm going to miss the chat while I futz around in StreamYard, but let's just, for the sake of it, so that everybody can know what it is that we're talking about. James Topp is contemplating legal action as a result of an article written by Rachel Gilmore. And let's just see what it says here. This is the article from August 18. Good PR. Why anti-hate experts are urging politicians to step up vetting practices. Yep. They're going to do that with Jagmeet Singh when he meets with separatists, who may have endorsed violent activity. They're going to do that with Justin Trudeau when he meets with convicted pedophiles. Is he going to do that with Justin Trudeau when he takes pictures with, I don't know, certain names which I won't even name? Oh, let's see when we apply this standard of vetting each and every individual, a politician who runs from coast to coast to meet Canadians. Let's see how they apply this standard of conduct. I'm sure it's going to be evenly. I'm sure it's going to be politically neutrally, and I'm sure it's going to be fair above all else. Editor's note. The URL for this story, the URL, has been revised to omit a reference to white supremacist, to avoid any misunderstanding that the person they suggested was a white supremacist, who is in fact not a white supremacist, is not a white supremacist. To avoid any misunderstanding that persons named in the URL are associated with that label. Oh, you're updating the URL after having defamed someone, I would say both directly and indirectly, or I would say even, I don't know how that, what is that? Is that superliminal? Is that like subliminal and then there's superliminal? We're just going to put in the URL, James Topp. Oh, you still got far right in the URL. Oh, that's nice. Right there. You still got far right in the URL. But at least you took out white supremacist. Thank you, you noble beings. Journalists. Oh, you don't see the URL that I'm highlighting. That's great. Whatever. In the URL, people. Do you see the URL? No, you don't. Anyhow, in the URL, it says Global News, Stephanie McAvoy, March, James Topp /far/right. They still got him as far right in the URL. Before politicians attend any event, it's standard practice for them to look into who is going to be there. Oh, really, Rachel Gilmore? When they have town hall meetings and anybody can show up, other than security, you think it's their obligation to look into who is going to attend public events? Oh my goodness. Though the techniques used for this screening process might vary. Some political strategists say, yeah, typically it's security and not public vetting of social media profiles and whatnot. Unless, of course, you just don't want Pierre Poilievre having a big crowd, so you make it impossible to vet everyone who's going to be at a Pierre Poilievre event. Justin Trudeau, I have no doubt, has no difficulty vetting the 3 people who come to his events because they're probably donors. I have no doubt that Justin Trudeau, who can't get a crowd unless it's a crowd to heckle him, would have a much easier time vetting people who willingly show up to his events. Mistakes can lead to embarrassing gaffes at best, they say, and widespread condemnation at worst. Who's guilty of the widespread condemnation? Look what they made us do. The journalists are saying, it's widespread condemnation that we are spearheading. Look what they made us do. We've seen it on all sides of the political spectrum. No, we haven't. No, nobody went after Jagmeet Singh in any meaningful sense. Nobody went after Justin Trudeau in any meaningful sense. Why? I can think of 600 million reasons why. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Politicians absolutely have a responsibility to research and figure out who is the person who's putting this event on. Different. I mean, that's just good PR. Why wouldn't their team be looking at who the organizer is? Okay, that's different as well, to some extent. And if they do look at who the organizer is, were they okay with that? Stephen McAvoy, who self-described on social media as the Ottawa organizer for a march against COVID-19 mandates that took place on June 30th, was named on the City of Ottawa permit application as primary event contact. Oh, okay. In 2018, McAvoy spoke to us at a small protest, which local media at the time described. The local media described it as such, and therefore it is, as anti-immigration and anti-Justin Trudeau. Oh, the local media described it as such. I guess this means that nobody can ever meet with, Maxime Bernier, because the media called him anti-immigrant, racist, xenophobe, whatever. The media gets to label you, and then they get to demonize anybody who meets with a person who the media has labeled probably wrongly. If I'm just operating on historical averages. We open mass immigration, open borders, New World Order, and Sharia law, it claims, is what this guy said. On a YouTube channel, Dubois can be seen having a fireside chat with a self-described white nationalist, Kevin Goudreau, who has a swastika tattooed on his chest. Goudreau attended the protest. That's probably not what you want to be doing. Although, knowing what was the nature of the interview, it's possible to scrutinize bad people. I mean, has Rachel Gilmore ever interviewed anybody who has a swastika tattoo? Have journalists interviewed people who are unsavory characters? Not knowing the context, which they're not giving, these are questions I would ask. Global News also obtained a number of screenshots from McAvoy's social media. In one post, she says it was just weird that a Muslim woman rang up at the Victoria's Secret store. In another, she proclaims that she is pro-Proud Boy. Was this before Proud Boys were declared a terrorist organization in Canada? Questions I would ask. The march McAvoy helped organize centered around a man named James Topp. Oh, so now James Topp is guilty of the sins of everyone else who seems to be guilty only through association. A Canadian soldier who has spoken out against the federal government COVID-19 vaccine requirements and is now set to face a court-martial. Oh, that sounds so tell us why. Tell us why he's set to face a court-martial, who has been walking across the country to draw attention to his opposition to vaccine mandates. So that's one way of describing it. Or he's marching across the country to raise awareness for constitutional rights. That's another way to describe it. It's all a question of perspective. While the permit application itself was denied, the city says it wasn't submitted in time, among other reasons. The march went ahead as planned. 4 people were arrested after Topp arrived at the National War Memorial in what Ottawa characterized as an interaction during which they said an officer was choked. 4 people. Do you know how many people get arrested in Ottawa on a daily basis? Just asking obvious questions. 4 people were arrested when James Topp marched through Ottawa, and now we're supposed to conclude that James Topp is guilty of something by association. I don't know what it is, but throw enough together and people will connect dots that don't exist if you ask us to. Before the march arrived at the War Memorial, a handful of politicians, including Conservative leadership candidate Pierre Poilievre and Maxime Bernier, briefly walked alongside the group. It's unclear whether they were aware of McAvoy's role in organizing the event, as multiple requests for comment and follow-up attempts were left unanswered over the course of more than 2 weeks. It's unclear if Poilievre and Maxime, who showed up to support, presumably, James Topp, who was marching across Canada to raise awareness for constitutional rights and the abuses and, I'll say, inhumane punishment that military men and Canadians have been suffering. Were Pierre Poilievre and Maxime Bernier, when they showed up to support James Topp, aware that someone who organized the event had social media posts from 4 years ago and hosted an interview of a man with a tattoo on his chest? Is that your question, Rachel Gilmore? If it is, I'd like to know. Is that the question? I think that's the question. Were they aware when they showed up to support one man that someone who had a hand in organizing the event had various social media posts from years ago? Where did the article just go? Questions about political vetting. The June 30 march is far from the first time politicians have come under criticism for people associated with events they've attended. I know, it's funny how the media just picks and chooses when to make hay out of the fact that someone who might have organized something way back in the day might have done something unsafe. It's funny how Rachel Gilmore, if I may ask, have you done this type of scrutinizing with Justin Trudeau and the intimate photographs there exist of Justin Trudeau and convicted pedophiles? Have you done that, Rachel Gilmore? Why not? Prime Minister Justin Trudeau faced a firestorm of criticism in 2018 when a convicted failed assassin was invited to a reception he attended. That same year, oh, by the way, you say it was a firestorm of criticism. That's an interesting way of describing it in 2022. That same year, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh was forced to disavow Sikh separatists after extreme elements showed up at the same rally he was attending. Can we see evidence of the disavowal? Earlier this year, after attending a so-called Freedom Convoy protest, Conservative MP Michael Cooper released a statement condemning Nazism because a flag bearing a swastika flew behind him during an event with CBC News. Oh, okay. If politicians don't do due diligence before attending a rally, he added, it could send a message to those in attendance. What message could it have sent to those in attendance of James Topp when presumably nobody knew anything about this individual McAvoy's social media post from 4 years ago? What message could it send other than the message this media wants to pretend it sends by saying, look what we found. We found a bad apple in the bunch. And if you don't disavow this apple, that's a dog whistle to everyone else that you tolerate this. That's the only reason why it's problematic, because dishonest and disingenuous journalists want to weaponize what is a statistical inevitability. It's probably a statistical inevitability that at any given public event, there's going to be a number of people with unsavory backgrounds, probably. They're, in the same way they faulted Pierre Poilievre for having shaken hands with Jeremy Mackenzie. If we want to operate, we'll grant them their premise that Jeremy Mackenzie is a questionable Diagolon founder. That's the standard they want to create. Oh, he shook hands with this guy, Jeremy Mackenzie. He should have known who he is. Now that we know who he is, if he does not disavow him, it means he supports white nationalism. And we get to run these hit pieces and weaponize it to discredit them. Oh, there's obviously a very large difference between the tools available to the members of the government in Canada and tools available to everybody. Who cares? Okay. According to Susan Smith, a liberal strategist and a co-founder of Blue Sky Strategy Group, it would be, quote, impossible for political staff to screen every single attendee of a large event like a protest or a march. Still, she said, any good leadership team is checking out who's organizing a particular event before you make a decision that your candidate is in attendance. It keeps going on here. Multiple requests for comment were sent to Poilievre over the course of 2 weeks, including 2 follow-ups were left unanswered. McAvoy also did not reply to Global News' request for comment over the same period. You got to ask yourself a question here, journalists. If nobody trusts you enough to even talk to you because you pull things out of context, bastardized statements, maybe you're not such the good guys in all of this. I mean, when one has a history of dishonesty, some might say you'd have to be stupid to engage with people who you know have a proven history of dishonesty. Bernier's team also did not respond to a request for comment. Smith said if the Global News was able to learn details about the march's organizers, however, political staff likely would have been able to do the same. It's highly unlikely that the leadership themselves would be making those phone calls to find out, she added. But they should be asking those questions and they should be making the decision. What a beautiful way to ensure that politicians just simply cannot attend rallies of a certain nature, simply cannot attend rallies for their political base because the dishonest and disingenuous media is going to go in there and find some unscrupulous element of someone directly or indirectly associated with the protest, with the event, so that they can then demonize anybody who attends it. That's how the game works. Rachel Gilmore, I can tell you one thing. there's a lot of people on Earth, on both sides of the political spectrum, who have questionable elements of their past. And it is not, it is a game of certainty to be able to play this game at any event you want to and ignore it at any event you don't. But there's a whole montage of Justin Trudeau taking very intimate pictures with very, very questionable people. Oh, but a firestorm in 2018, bull crap. Bull crap. Anyhow, that's what's coming out of Canada. I'm going to close this down here. Just reading the Rumble chat. Going to refresh and make sure everything's good there. Oh, but don't worry. So that's the Canadian side of the update. And by the way, stay tuned because I might have a very interesting story tomorrow. I wanted to report on an article, but I don't feel comfortable reporting on the article unless I can speak with the subject themselves to make sure that what I've read is accurate, and to ask some questions that I would like to ask that I haven't seen other people ask. Let me just see one thing here. Are we sharing this now? No, we're not. Hold on. Share screen. Just want to see this Justin Trudeau picture with. Oh, look at let's see what the fact checks have to say about this. Which fact? This is fact check. Disinformation campaign falsely links Justin Trudeau with pedophilia. Was it because of the picture of him with an individual who was a convicted pedophile? Was that why? AP. Oh no, this is Associated Free Press. A disinformation campaign 2022. Oh no, what year is this article? This is 2020. This is 2 years after the firestorm. A disinformation campaign in Canada continues to link the repeal of lawmaking. Oh, okay, that's not what we want anyhow. That's not what we want. Photograph. Let's just see here. Wow, it was such a firestorm. Such a firestorm. I can't even find it. Photo with. It's amazing. Such a firestorm. Such a firestorm. I can barely find an article on this. Here, let's just see here. True North. Fake news, according to the Canadian government. 7 times Trudeau met with pedophiles, terrorists, and extremists. Trudeau and convicted pedophile Ben Levin. Okay, that's one. Trudeau and neo-Nazi Andrea Parabui. I mean, this is what the True North is saying. I have not vetted all these individuals myself. Trudeau and convicted pedophile Terry Lowe. Trudeau and convicted pedophile Peter Dalglish. Trudeau and anti-Semite extremism Amin El Moed. Trudeau and terrorist Jaspal Atwal. Trudeau and Joshua Boyle. Firestorm. Rachel Gilmore says what happened in 2018 was a firestorm, and you'll be hard-pressed to even find an article on it. Shay, Mr. Curmudgeon, here's the article so you can go read it yourselves, everybody. All right, that'll do it for the Canadian side of things. American side, speaking of fake news. Speaking of fake news, look, I like it when when predictions come true. Everybody likes it when their predictions come true because it makes them feel smart. It's not a question. When you make an accurate prediction, it makes you feel smart. When you make a bad prediction, you forget about it and you move on and you wait for an accurate prediction so you can feel smart yet again. You will recall, which filing was it? It was the Justice Department's response. Oh, I'm sorry, no. It was the Judge Cannon's order in response to the Justice Department's response to Donald Trump's motion for injunctive relief, appointment of a special master. In that judgment, the judge concluded as a matter of judicial fact that Joe Biden, the president, the incumbent president, had asked NARA, the National Archives Registry Act, had asked NARA to communicate documents to the FBI. The same, I want to get the video. The same the same White House that said they had no knowledge, they had no advanced knowledge of the warrant, the raid. I believe this is it. This is it. This is Viva Inception. This is Viva live streaming. Viva live streaming.
Roll the video. Let me do it.
Response to Robert Gouveia. Robert Gouveia.
2022.
This is from the court order. We're just going to go over the facts. This is from the judgment of the court. It is now a judicial fact that in May 2022,
NARA informed Trump that it would proceed with providing the FBI access.
NARA, who's in discussions with Trump about these boxes of documents that NARA says belong to them, and Trump says, no, they belong to me. They say, NARA says to Trump, we're giving the documents to the FBI at the request of?
To the records in question as requested by the incumbent president. That's Joe Biden.
Was the president or anyone at the White House aware of that search warrant, or had
this? And then this is what the White House had said at the time through press secretary and now confirmed liar Karine Jean-Pierre.
The White House or the president been briefed in the aftermath of that search warrant being executed?
No, the president was not briefed, was not aware of it. No one at the White House was given.
No, it's like a song. You want to go crazy wordsmithing? They'll weasel out of it. They will weasel out of it because of the phrasing of the question. Watch again.
President.
We don't need to watch it again. We'll just. How are they going to weasel out of it?
The president was not briefed. Was
not briefed. Was not aware of it. That depends on what your definition of it is.
No one at the White
House. No one in the White House was given a heads up. That's true, because when you're the ones giving the order, you don't need a heads up. You just gave the order. Forget it. We've heard enough of that lunatic. So that was my prediction. It was a very tough prediction to make because, again, past this prologue, when Juan is dealing with dishonest, fake fact checkers, you just have to say, well, if I'm dishonest and I need to cover a bad fact, how am I going to spin it? That's how I'm going to spin it, people. Oh, look at this. FBI, AP fact check. Judge's order doesn't show Biden ordered FBI search. We all know that. We all knew that, because that's not how corruption in modern times works, people. The corruption, I've talked about it over and over again. It's not the briefcase of cash anymore. You don't even have to promise. You don't even have to say it. You know what needs to be done. The corrupt entities know what needs to be done. Biden doesn't need to say, FBI, go out there and get me that gosh darn warrant. That's not how corruption works anymore. So when the White House comes out and says, we didn't know about the warrant, we didn't have advanced warning about the warrant, we didn't have any follow-up meetings with the FBI after no. Well, we know what they're saying, and we know that it is a pathologically disingenuous way of circumventing the truth, which is that Joe Biden knew what was going on. He was basically directing it. When Joe Biden, the incumbent president, tells NARA to hand over the boxes of the documents, the impugned boxes or the impugned documents to the FBI, he knows damn well what he's doing. The FBI knows what the president is doing. Nobody needs to say it. Joe Biden's not asking NARA to hand the boxes over to the FBI so the FBI can have a picnic. He's not asking them to hand it over to the FBI so the FBI can look it over and then come to an administrative decision and say, yeah, these are the documents that are records for NARA. Here you go, end of it. He knows what he's doing. We know what he's doing. The FBI knows what he's doing. They all know that we know that they know that we know what they're doing. It happens. And then they say, oh, I never told them to execute a warrant. I didn't know about it. I didn't have advanced knowledge of something that I was orchestrating. They didn't follow up with me afterwards. No. Claim a federal court in the legal dispute over government documents held by former President Donald Trump shows President Joe Biden ordered the FBI to search at Trump's Florida home. You know, even the way they're phrasing it here, it's actually even more dishonest. Because some might say that when Biden tells NARA to hand the documents over to the FBI, that's exactly what he's doing. But that's the claim. The federal court said Joe Biden ordered the FBI to search Trump's home. Oh, no. AP assessment. False. It's false, people. Go on. Go home. You're done. Stupid conspiracy theorists. You fools. Monday's court order does include the phrase as requested by the incumbent president, but it's not related to last month's search, August. It's not related to August search. What he said in May, when he told Nara to give the boxes to the FBI, it wasn't related to the warrant that was executed in August. Nothing, it had nothing to do with it. And you have to be stupid and a conspiracy theorist to think that that's exactly effectively what it was. The phrase comes from a May letter from the National Archives denying Trump's request to delay turning over documents to the FBI. Because, by the way, just to add a little more corruption to all of this, Trump was saying to Nara, "I'll give this stuff to the FBI. Just let me go through it and pull out confidential solicitor-client privilege, what I deem to be executive privilege documents. I'll do it. Just give me a little more time." Incumbent president says, no more time for you. I'm telling Nara to give the documents to the FBI, but I didn't know they were going to raid his house. I thought they were going to give them back. The letter states that the archives made the FBI aware of the documents after determining some of them were considered highly classified. They knew that well before, by the way. That's outright misinformation. They knew well before. In the judgment itself, for anybody who's bothered to read it, they knew, I think it's at least as of 2021, if not as of February 2022. The FBI then requested permission from the White House to access the documents, which Biden granted. He didn't grant the warrant. Can you believe this? The facts. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon. People are petitioning to have her impeached, or they're filing complaints. I forget what it is. I'm not sure if she's an impeachable judge. They're filing complaints. It's the mob mentality going for the cancellation of a federal judge. No, it's a state court judge. It's a state court judge that they don't like. No, it's a federal court judge. What the hell's my problem? No, it's a district court judge. Sorry, it's a district. Okay. They're going after her now because they don't like the court order. This is, by the way, you can't only love your country when you win. You can't only love the judicial system when you win. And when you lose, go after the judge. This is the hypocrisy. This is the confession through projection of the people marching around saying, you can't only love your country when you win politically, but you can only love your judicial system when you win judicially. And if a judge issues an order that you don't like, cancel that judge. That's what they're trying to do to Judge Aileen Cannon right now. She granted Trump's request for a special master to review documents seized by the FBI from Mar-a-Lago on August 8th. She also temporarily halted the Justice Department's use of records. Got it. We already did that. Okay. Conservative outlets and social media users quickly seized on that phrasing as evidence that Biden had been aware of the FBI's plans to raid Trump's Palm Beach resort and, in fact, had ordered it, something he and his administration has steadfastly denied. Do you see what they did here, by the way? Do you see what they did here? They say conservatives were saying that it showed Trump was aware of the FBI's plans to raid and had, in fact, ordered it, something he and his administration steadfastly denied. They steadfastly denied having, in fact, ordered it. And my point is that it would be stupid, juvenile, and disingenuous to even purport that he would have to order it. That's not how it works in that world. Everyone knows it's wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Comme on dit en français, le clin d'œil. It's the wink of an eye. I know it needs to be done. You don't even have to tell me. But they coupled it with the statement that that he was aware of FBI's plans to raid the Trump resort. When he told Nara to give FBI access to the documents, what did he think was going to happen? As requested by the incumbent president, Rasmussen reports tweeted, Joe Biden initiated the Mar-a-Lago raid, which is true. He initiated it by effectively by ordering Nara to give the documents to the FBI. That's not initiating the raid the day of. That's initiating the process. Then lied about doing so to Americans repeatedly. Let that sink in. Yeah, I'll say that. If I'm going to fact check that, I'll say that's hyperbolic. I would say contextually, I'm going to presume what they mean here. He didn't have to sign off on the warrant. That's not how it works. He doesn't go tell the FBI, get a warrant. He says, get those documents. And he did. And then he said, I didn't order the warrant. Okay. I didn't get debriefed after the fact. Okay. But did I tell the American people that I told Nara to give the documents to the FBI? No. It took a judge to say that. Pro-Trump websites also ran stories on the ruling's apparent revelation that were widely shared on social media. Yeah, but the phrase in question is only a partial quote. Okay. Yada. But let's see where it is. Wall notes that the 15 boxes provided by Trump in January 2022 included classified. In January 2022, like I just said earlier, they knew that it contained classified national security information, including top secret. They knew it well before May. That prompted her agency to inform the Department of Justice, which then sought and was granted access to the documents from the White House. Under the Presidential Records Act, any requests for presidential records held by the National Archives must be approved by the president, not archive officials. Oh, okay. How far down does this go? Oh my God. For the same reasons, I have concluded that there is no reason to grant your request for a further delay before the FBI and others in the intelligence community begin their reviews. Wall's letter concludes. Accordingly, NARA will provide the FBI access to the records in question as requested by the incumbent president. Okay. The Biden administration declined to comment on the record Tuesday, but pointed to its prior statements on the May letter. Yep. Spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre has argued that the missive, if anything, illustrates how removed the White House. Of course it does. It was so removed, it was the White House itself that asked the National Archives to give the documents to the FBI. So removed. Like, we don't understand how this all works. It shows the DOJ made a request for access to an older set of documents independently, and the White House affirmed it, which is standard, she said, at an August 29 briefing. And when the former President Trump attempted to assert executive privilege to block the FBI from assessing the document, President Biden deferred to the National Archives and the DOJ. Oh, he deferred to the National Archives and the DOJ when it said, accordingly, NARA will provide the FBI access as requested by the president. Oh, that's not deferring, that's requesting. It's so easy. It's so easy to predict how dishonest actors are going to act dishonestly. It's just a matter of options. Which one are they going to go with in order to carry on with their dishonesty? Let's see here. We got Kenzie67. Rumble Rant says, you can say Nazi now. You are clashing with Rebel News, by the way, 12 p.m. Eastern. I know it is hard to find a time, but it is Canadian news. It's not hard. It's impossible. It's impossible. If you look at live, not that I didn't know. That might be my fault as well. It's just impossible. You got Crowder in the morning. You got Ruben who goes live. Bottom line, it'll be here afterwards. If people don't watch this now, they can watch it afterwards. Hold on. Someone says it's not hypocrisy. It's not hypocrisy. It's hierarchy, but I can't freeze the chat to see who sent it. The Rumble Rant. I'm not your guy, buddy. Good. It's not hypocrisy. It's hierarchy. You knew they were going to do it. And in this case, it was just obvious how they were going to do it. He didn't order the warrant. He just ordered NARA to provide the documents to the FBI. Whatever happens after that, I can't put my fingers on it. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, except we know exactly what's going to happen. That's how it's initiated. And then we're just going to tell everybody, I had nothing to do with anything. I didn't know anything. Pathological. But I would expect nothing less from an individual who says, when I said Kemp and Trump stole elections, that's totally not comparable to people now not being allowed to say Biden stole an election. Speaking of people wanting to make up stories. Stephen King, I don't know what Twitter is. It's an environment that tries to get people to fight with each other. Not fight with it. It seeks the conflict for engagement. I mean, for obvious reasons. If everyone and I think it's for the better. If everyone just agreed with each other, oh, you're so good. That was such a great game you played. Great speech. It would be boring. It would not advance discourse. Stephen King, who doesn't just write fiction in his professional life, he writes fiction in his social media life as well. Stephen King wrote, when evaluating Republican candidates now backing away from their make all abortions illegal positions, When evaluating Republican candidates now, backing away from their, quote, make all abortions illegals, end quote, position. So now he's saying Republican candidates are no longer saying make all abortions illegal. They're going to say some exceptions and whatever. Remember the lies that Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett told when questioned in their confirmation hearings. Chat, just remind me who the top two are, because I can't find this. I couldn't find it right away. So I asked Stephen King. I don't expect to ever get a response. Just what were the specific lies? Be specific. Video or direct untruncated quotes. Just what were the lies? What were the lies? I didn't get a response, but fishing through his feed, I found this. Let me just see in the chat if anyone's going to tell me who the first two people are. Who are the first two people? Stephen King thinks Oswald killed Kennedy, and he wrote a story about it. He is a piece of garbage propagandist from day zero. So if any, let me know who the first two are, but those are not the relevant ones for this. This is what people think is the lie. They lied under oath, impeach them. You can't just love your country when you win, and you can't just love justice when you win. Say the people who want to impeach members of the Supreme Court of the United States because they don't like their rulings. Hypocrisy, confession through projection. But let's just see what the lie is. Brett Kavanaugh says, I just lost it. It's settled as precedent of the Supreme Court. Okay. That's not a lie. That was true. That was true. It was settled as precedent of the Supreme Court. Okay. Did he say, I will never reconsider the issue on a going forward basis ever in my tenure as SCOTUS? If he did, I would suggest that would be unethical conduct in confirmation hearings to take a stand in advance as of yet litigated issue that is merely hypothetical. I mean, I'm not stupid enough to even be that disingenuous to say that I would hold that against them. Even when Kenji, oh geez, I've lost her last name now. The Supreme Court justice who doesn't know what a woman is, when she said, I'm not commenting on potential future cases. That's not how it's done. As a lawyer, you don't give opinions based on, inadequate, insufficient, or non-existent facts. You just don't do it. So asking someone, how would you rule in the future on a case, it would be unethical for them to answer. I would expect nothing less from them. It's settled as a precedent of the Supreme Court. Yeah. Does that mean the court shall never, in the history of America going forward, reconsider settled precedent? No, that's not what it means. And that's not what he said. What did Amy Coney Barrett say? Roe versus Wade clearly held that the Constitution protected a woman's rights to terminate a pregnancy. Now, I don't know if that's her exact direct quote. I didn't look it up. I'll just operate on the basis that it is an accurate quote. Roe v. Wade clearly held that the Constitution protected a woman's right to terminate a pregnancy. That's probably a perfectly honest, a perfectly accurate statement. And the problem is that it might have wrongly fabricated out of whole cloth, out of the Constitution, a constitutional right that did not exist in the Constitution. That might have been a problem with the decision. It might have been a problem that Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself acknowledged. These statements are 100% true at the time they were made. It was precedent of the Supreme Court, and it clearly held that the Constitution protected a woman's right to terminate a pregnancy. The only problem? The Constitution doesn't contain any such right. It was read into the existing right to privacy, and according to many a legal mind, including ones on the left, the political left, it was a bad decision. It was a bad decision, like some of the other bad decisions that have been court precedent, until the court says, we are now revisiting bad SCOTUS precedent. They lied. People use the word lie a little too freely and a little too dishonestly, ironically enough. Yeah. Stephen King is a moron. Okay, let's just reading some of the chat. The shriek from the so-called masterclass. They shriek from the so-called masterclass as they lose. Yeah. So that was Stephen King, and that was just something that I thought was of interest for the day. All right, let me pull up the next article, which is the next news of the day. I mean, Bannon can't seem to stop getting in trouble because people can't seem to stop. Oh, no, here. I think this was it. Let me see this. This is
warnings about society to heart and decide to do something about it.
Oh, here we go.
Conservative leadership frontrunner Pierre Poilievre came under fire this past weekend after an image of him shaking.
He came under fire that we placed there. He came under fire that we thrust on him.
Hands with Jeremy McKenzie,
I think this was the stochastic terrorism that I wanted to reference before. I think
the founder of a group known as Diagolon, emerged. Now, Poilievre says he shakes hands with tens of thousands of people and he can't possibly background check them all. But what exactly is Diagolon? Basically, it's a group of live streamers that made up a joke country based on the states and provinces that at the time didn't have mask mandates. It started as a meme. Their pretend vice president is an evil goat. But during their hours-long live streams, Diagolon members have warned about a looming societal collapse, which they blame on the government. And they'll call for something to be done about this without saying what. This is what worries extremism experts, especially after what appeared to be Diagolon patches were found alongside a bunch of weapons the RCMP seized in Coutts, Alberta earlier this year. Because while this group says they're just joking around, the experts say followers might take the warnings about society to heart and decide to do something about it. Read more at globalnews.ca.
No, thank you. Yeah, that is loosely referencing the term stochastic terrorism, which is, say things and someone does something. Okay, that's not what I wanted to bring up. Let's bring up the next story here. Do we do a quick lighthearted one? Let's do a quick lighthearted one just to cleanse our palates after that. This was, I don't know who these people are. Andrew Blake. Let's just see who he is. Senior political reporter, writing for The Fix at the Washington Post. That explains everything. Okay, puts up a picture. Look at these animals at these Trump rallies. 4 images from Trump's rally in Pennsylvania this weekend. Middle fingers. Oh God, if I had a producer, I would cue Reverend Lovejoy's wife. Won't somebody think of the children? You got 4 pictures here. Undated, no context. 4, I don't even know what's going on there. That person broke their hand, and that doesn't look good. That's swelling of the hand. That looks like a bad break or surgery. And this guy right here. Don't even know what they're giving the finger to, 4 at. Don't know context, don't know date, but I'll just operate on the basis it was at a rally with tens of thousands of people. Middle fingers. Oh my goodness. Look at this. 4 images from Trump's rally. It's literally MAGA Republican extremism. We should illegalize the middle finger. Rage. I just Googled it. And it's not that I found a random image. I never knew that a uterus giving the middle finger was a thing for pro-choice advocates. I didn't know it was a thing. It's a thing. A uterus giving the middle finger. Setting aside all the other images that I came across as well, I just thought this was quite funny. Said, I hope Aaron Blake never goes to a pro-choice rally. He'll have nightmares. He'll have PTSD like Kunzman after firing a weapon. Not a weapon, I should say, a firearm. After firing an AR, he had PTSD. A uterus giving the middle finger. It's terrible. If these people are barbarians for flipping the bird, and I don't know at what. If someone's sticking a camera in someone's face, you might, if CNN shows up and puts a camera in your face, you might expect this reaction. I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't want that being an image of me on the interwebs. But there could be context. There could be context. Or it could just be 4 people raising their middle fingers at a rally of 10,000 people. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So anybody wearing this shirt, we should call it pro-choice MAGAs. Pro-choice MAGA? I don't know. You know what I mean. Preposterous. But it's more hierarchy. We can give you the finger when it's a uterus doing it because it's for something benevolent and it's for something about rights. But my goodness, if I see people giving a finger at a pro-Trump rally where they might very well be talking about fake news, about Biden's what was it called? The red sermon? If it's about that and they're giving the fingers, oh my goodness, I'm going to take that to social media and say they're all bad. MAGA Republicans, that they run around giving the finger to everybody. It's horrifying. It's terrible. And won't someone think of the children? Okay. And now we've cleansed our palate. Let's just go into the next they must think we're idiots stories of the day. We started off with fake news, fact check, spin. Now we're just going to fake news. Where was it? Oh, for the love of goodness, I didn't close it, did I? Oh, come on. No, it's right there. It's right there. It's an article. So I'm looking for an article. I'm not looking for a tweet. Well, that would make sense. Here we go. Cardiologists. When it starts with cardiologist, you know you're about to get potentially misled. And when it starts with climate change, you know you're about to get misled. Look at this, people. They think we're idiots. Some of us might be idiots, and others of us might be idiots. From Business Insider. Article, September 7. That was yesterday. A cardiologist. By the way, this is how they also hedge their bets. It's not cardiologists. It's not science. It's not a statement. It's just someone saying it. A cardiologist says she's seeing a rise in 20-somethings with heart arrhythmias. Okay. Caused by herbal supplements. People, I was following right up until there. A cardiologist says she's seeing a rise in 20-somethings with heart arrhythmias. I'm with you, cardiologist, because we all know this. Caused by herbal supplements. Okay, all right. I'm not saying she's a quack and a hack and a liar. I'm just saying I'm thinking it right now, but I have an open mind. So let's just go read the article and just see. Let's see the evidence to substantiate this claim. Cardiologists told Insider people under 30 are developing heart problems. Okay. Oh, from taking herbal supplements. Do you remember when they said causation does not equal correlation does not equal causation? That mantra. Who spouts off that mantra when it's scientifically, medically convenient? We know who, we know when. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to then say, well, I can say correlation equals causation in certain circumstances, but not in others. I'm just saying I actually don't apply correlation to causation ever. I just sort of apply changes in behavior to new phenomena. Are taking herbal supplements a thing of? Is it a new thing? We'll see. Maybe I'm black pilled, like Alex Jones said. I'm in a state of psychosis where I see conspiracy in everything. I see lies everywhere, even when they're telling the truth. Common supplements like fish oil and bitter orange have been linked to heart problems. When? Loose federal regulations mean supplements may contain unlisted risky ingredients. Oh, as of when? I doubt this is a new phenomenon within a year or two. Have you experienced health problems or had a patient experience health problems due to supplements? We don't give a crap about anybody else. If you have arrhythmia, myocarditis, pericarditis, and you think it's about something else, piss off. I don't want to talk to you. Heart supplements. That's all we care about. Does that include therapeutics, by the way? Cardiologists are sounding the alarm on herbal supplements, which are giving their young patients heart problems. So we are arguing from a foregone conclusion now. California-based cardiologist Danielle Bellardo. I am going to have to go check the social media of this doctor afterwards and just see if they have any political leanings. Said the most common cause of heart arrhythmia or irregular heartbeat presenting in her 20-something patients. 20-something. Wow. I love how some studies, which only have a few thousand people, are not big enough, but 20-something patients stems from taking herbal supplements. It's possible. Bellardo said her patients come in taking herbs like bitter orange and ephedra, both linked to irregular heartbeats in case studies and clinical research. Irregular heartbeats in case studies. It's not always straightforward to sort out which compound is the culprit. Oh, but it's straightforward to find out which one is not the culprit. That we know. Since Bellardo's patients often take multiple supplements, have they taken anything else? I'm just wondering. Have they taken anything else? And the supplement trend is growing faster than researchers can keep up. This is drawing on the cusp of what we know with regards to herbal supplements and arrhythmia, Blardo told The Insider. Since there's such poor regulation of the formulation, the purity, and the efficacy of these herbals, we don't have any robust literature to tell us exactly what's causing what. But we know what's not causing it. Let me just see something. Yeah, exactly as I thought. The Fauci jab word appears exactly 0 times in this article. However, a number of Americans taking dietary. Yeah. Now, Blardo says she has started probing her patients on what over-the-counter pills they take, and she isn't alone. Can we ask what over-the-counter therapeutics they take? After tweeting out at her 70,000. Oh, so she's got following, dude. I'm gonna go. The internet's smarter than me. You'll get the answer faster than me. I'd like to know other tweets that this doctor has tweeted. She was seeing young people sickened after tweeting out to her 70,000 followers that she was seeing young people sickened by supplements. She went out and then tweeted out to her 70,000 followers that she had 20 patients with arrhythmia that she concluded were linked to supplements. But someone's going to have to tell me why this is not quackery of the highest order. I have 20 patients, which is not very many. I can't really tell what's causing what, but I'm going to go tweet out to my 70,000 followers that I'm seeing young people sickened by supplements. She had other cardiologists, ER doctors, and internists around the country say that they've experienced the same phenomenon. No shizzle, people. If it's not climate change, now it's supplements. Oh my gosh. Martha, another California cardiologist and president-elect of the American Union, is among them. Galati told The Insider she is concerned that many people falsely believe taking natural supplements. Okay, that's a totally separate issue. Blardo mentioned trying to evidence support for the benefits of risk supplements. I don't care about the discussion about supplements. There are question marks on other supplements, such as and even shrub. The herb might have caused arrhythmia in some cases. The herb might have caused arrhythmia in some case studies, Blardo said, including one 2022 report that suggested the herb caused arrhythmias in a 73-year-old woman. The heart condition stopped when she was no longer taking ashwagandha. Researchers have found a link between and I love the conclusion, though, by the way. Be an informed consumer. Don't be influenced by social media. Oh, it'll be funny if Gulati has certain avatars in her social media handle. I have to go see. Be smart about what you're putting into your body and do a little bit of research about it. I'm sorry. Wasn't there just an article that says don't do your own research? Just because it's sold over the counter or given away for free. Yes, people. The sudden increase in arrhythmia, it is solely the result of supplements or climate change. Or what else? What else is there, people? What else have they used? Do your own research, except when it comes to something else. Don't think just because it's being given away for free or it's over the counter that it's safe, except when it comes to something else that is unquestionable. Oh, okay. We got some Rumble rants. Ken Leist says, it occurred to me that the B for Bibeta image was to help Democrats push him out in a primary. It occurred to me that the B for Bidetta image was to help Democrats, Clinton, push him out in a primary. I don't know who that is, what that is, but thank you for the Rumble rant. Zook65 says, evening all, you must be in overseas. Great link with spreading the word. Men whose deeds are spread by words of respect. Thank you very much. Pasha Moyer, I can see it based on the avatar. I think the 20-something is a descriptor of age, not count. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Well, I'd like to know how many patients she has. It might be less than 20. Either way, that's the demographic. That's the demographic that we know is potentially problematic when it comes to certain things. Herbal supplements is the new one. It's amazing. Call me cynical, but that does not pass the smell test, let alone the litmus test. Okay, I'm going to close the Stephen King. Got a couple more stories. What is everybody up to today? How is everybody doing? Are we having fun being gaslit and lied to day in and day out? Do your own research except when it tells you some things. And then if you believe it, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's not because it's over the counter, because it's safe. Oh, okay. Let's go see what's going on with Steve Bannon. He can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. He keeps breathing, and he keeps doing business in states that seem hell-bent on going after people for political reasons. I mean, how many times have we heard Barnes tell us that O'Keefe, Project Veritas, Bannon, get out of New York, don't do business in certain places where you are going to be politically targeted. You're not going to have a snowball's chance in summer of getting a fair jury. And yet, I don't know, people are stubborn or people love it. Here we go. Yes, it's Fox News, people. Steve Bannon surrenders to New York authorities to face money laundering conspiracy charges. Steve Bannon claims he and former President Trump are being targeted by the criminal justice system. Yeah. Who would disagree with that? No, the only question is whether or not you believe he's being legitimately and validly targeted, because he is being targeted, just as a matter of fact. Former Trump White House strategist Steve Bannon turned himself over to New York authorities to face state charges. Yep. He got the federal pardon, but look at that. I think we can find some charges at the state level to circumvent that pesky little pardon. He was charged with 6 counts in all: money laundering in the 2nd degree, scheme to defraud in the 1st degree, conspiracy in the 4th and 5th degrees. All from, same set of facts. Oh boy. Bannon was expected to be released on no cash bail and surrender his passport. That seems like, Bannon is not fleeing the country that he is so vigorously fighting for. That much is for certain. For anybody who knows Bannon, I don't know Bannon, but I think people who do know Bannon would say that of Bannon. A source familiar with the case told Fox News he found out about the indictment a week ago, and they called his office. Yada yada. This is and I'm surprised there was no morning raid. Why no 6 o'clock morning raid? Too much? They've already done it. Or they've already swatted him 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Bannon pleaded not guilty to federal charges of conspiracy, so he pleads not guilty just days after being swatted 3 different times by deranged thugs from the New York City, inspired by the Biden administration to assassinate me by police. The Soros-backed DA has now decided to pursue phony charges against me 60 days before the midterm election because War Room is the major source of the MAGA grassroots movement, Bannon said in a statement. Do we want to go through this? What is this? The grand jury indictment? Let's just see if we do it real quick. Bannon in his statement claimed that he was being targeted for his politics and that authorities would have to kill him before he stopped fighting. I am proud to be the leading voice on protecting our borders and building a wall to keep our country safe from drugs and violent criminals. The War Room show will be more vital, more intense, more urgent, and bigger this time, he said in the statement. They are coming after all of us, not only the president and myself. I'm never going to stop fighting. In fact, I have not yet begun to fight. They will have to kill me first. The Washington Post, citing anonymous sources, reported that the state criminal case would resemble an earlier attempted federal. Oh, wow. That's great. This is the one time I'm going to trust an anonymous source because it's common sense. Is there an anonymous source? Logic 101. Is there an anonymous source? A 5th grader who has a basic understanding of civics. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we're just going to take it and we're going to switch the word federal for state. We're going to find the state statute and we're going to go press him into the state because he didn't get a state pardon because pardons are only federal and not state. But who'd have thunk? Great idea. In a separate case, Bannon was found. Oh, then we got the contempt. He's got his sentencing coming up in October. See, now I've lost the document. Here, let's just see if there's anything of interest in here. How do I open this? No. Yeah, it's not going to work. Whatever. I'm going to keep that open and I'll look at it afterwards. So, hey, no. Bannon can't keep himself out of trouble because they won't leave him alone. This time they've got him, people. This time they've got him. All right. And then look, one more coming out of Canada, the stabbing. The stabbing spree that I'm not even going to say it left 10 people dead. 10 people were killed. And there's an element to this story that above and beyond the horror and shocking, the shocking terror of the story itself, the kick in the groin like the lemon on the wound after. You'll see that True Romance when Christopher Walken is interrogating Dennis Hopper and he cuts his hand with the knife and then he pours alcohol on it. This story in and of itself is devastating, just horrendous. 10 people stabbed to death on a Cree reserve in Saskatchewan. One assailant was found dead, apparently from not self-inflicted wounds. And the second assailant, who had been on the run, I guess for 4 days when this was written, gets arrested and then dies in police custody from medical emergencies. And you read the story, and it just doesn't make sense. This is from CNN. When was it updated? So Thursday. So it's updated at 5 o'clock this morning. So it's I guess it's unless there's news today, and there might be. Saskatchewan mass stabbing suspect underwent medical distress and died after his arrest, police say. I don't want anyone misquoting me. The issue here is not that the individual, that we need to preserve the life of violent, evil murderers, period. That's not the point here. The point is, how does this happen? The explanation coming from the authorities, and how does it happen every time? The Nova Scotia shooting, man, gets killed. The dead tell no tales. In the Nova Scotia shooting, we don't know how he withdrew $450,000 cash from a bank, which he did. Just, if anybody doesn't know the facts, go look it up. Dead. The other one died, not self-inflicted. I imagine they had a falling out, or I don't know, a pact. And this guy gets dead, medical emergency, after there's a photograph of him being handcuffed with 6 officers behind him. How does it happen? Where are we going to get the answers from now? Miles Sanderson, the suspect of the mass stabbing in Canada, died Wednesday after going into, quote, medical distress after his arrest, according to the RCMP Assistant Commissioner, Rhonda Blackmore. Sanderson's death means both suspects in the attack that rocked the Canadian province of Saskatchewan are now dead. Sanderson's brother, Damien Sanderson, was found dead. Sanderson's brother, Damien Sanderson, was found dead a day after the attack with injuries that were not believed to be self-inflicted. Both brothers were wanted in connection with the murders of 10 of the stabbing victims. But when asked by a reporter if Miles Sanderson was the one who carried out the killings, they don't have that information yet. The events leading up to Sanderson's death began with a call at 2:07. Yada, yada, yada. It was reported that he stole a white Chevrolet Avalanche truck and tried to flee the property, and the RCMP issued an emergency alert. Over the next 45 minutes, RCMP received more than 20 calls about potential sightings of the truck. An RCMP officer eventually saw the truck going at least 150 kilometers an hour and was located at a nearby highway. Fine. To ensure the safety of the drivers on the highway, the vehicle was directed off the road and into a nearby ditch, Blackmore said. So if he sustained injuries in the arrest, would they have said that? That's one explanation. Is some people are hypothesizing he consumed something and then, had a heart attack or an overdose later. That's a little bit more far-fetched than, was he injured in the arrest? And if he was, why couldn't they specify that? Police confirmed the driver was Sanderson and took him into custody. A knife was found inside the vehicle. Shortly after his arrest, he went into medical distress. Nearby EMS were called to attend the scene, and he was transported to a hospital in Saskatoon. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. After all life-saving measures were taken, yada, 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 he went into medical distress. This term comes up 4 times in this article. Up 4 times in this article. She would not comment when asked whether the administration of Narcan was one of those life-saving measures, suggesting he died of an overdose, I guess. I can't speak in a more specific manner of the death. It's going to be part of the autopsy. Okay. All but one victim is from the James Smith Cree Nation. The 10 victims ranged in age from 23 to 78, and all but one are from the indigenous community of James Smith Cree Nation, according to the authorities. Just horrendous. Just horrendous. You have this horrendous story going on in real time. You have what seems to be, I'm not trying to be dramatic, a society that is being pulled apart at the seams, a society that is being crushed from the highest levels down. And in the wake of this is not satire, people. This is a prime minister of the country, and this is what he's tweeting. This was 16 hours ago. Update. You all recall there was a cell reception outage last summer. Oh no, yeah, we're in the summer. It was recently, and people lost cell service. I think it was Rogers. People couldn't even dial 911. They couldn't even place emergency calls. This is a tweet from Justin Trudeau yesterday. As I think at the time the manhunt was still going on. If it wasn't, it had just ended. Update: following Minister Champagne's meeting with them this July, Canada's telecom companies have reached an agreement to ensure Canadians can reach loved ones, access 911, and conduct business transactions in the event of an outage like Rogers this summer. More here. You notice how they just throw the worst one just in the middle. Hey, in the event of an outage, your Canadian government, we're there to protect you. We just thought of this. We should always make sure that you can access 911. But in the event of outages, we'll make sure that you can contact loved ones, access 911, and conduct business. We're there for you. At the time when there's literally a killing spree and a manhunt going on in Canada. And you know what the ultimate irony of all of this? Justin Trudeau's telling, we're there. The government is there to protect you. After how long has the phone been around for? I don't know. How long has the cellular been around? After decades, we've just realized it's probably a good idea that you should always be able to call 911. And I pointed out, and some people are like, what's the correlation? It's tactless, first of all, and it's absolute incompetence, second of all. I just had a great idea. Maybe when you dial 911, you should be able to access 911. The problem is this. I don't know if I tweeted about it at the time. 911, Ottawa, hold. You know what the irony is? Let's see if this was it. When I was in Ottawa, no, that's not it. When I was in Ottawa for the protest, documenting the protest, and one day when I was documenting the protest, I was driving in and out. I was driving in and out of Ottawa on a daily basis. My car got towed one day, so I tried to call 311, which is like their highway service, and it was looping through and then disconnecting me. And it was a Friday afternoon. I had to get home. I dialed 311. I was like, what do I do? I called a bunch of people. They said, well, I'm going to have to call 911. So I called 911 and I'm ready to say, not an emergency. I just don't know where to find my car that has been towed. I had access. I had my cell phone. I reached 911. I was put on hold in Ottawa, dialing 911. No one on the other end knew it was not an emergency. I was put on hold and I went through 4 autoplays of a recorded message before finally getting a dispatcher. Justin Trudeau's tweet should say, after thorough consideration and realizing how important it is to be able to reach 911 in the case of an emergency, I'm going to work with telecom companies to make sure you can reach 911 unless, and then when you do, I'll worry about whether or not 911 is able to take your call because I've deployed them. I've dispatched them to deal with a protest where people dialing 911 can actually not get emergency services because I deployed at the time that occurred thousands of police officers to downtown Ottawa. Yeah, no, it's incompetence, top to bottom, left to right, diagonal across, and this is the government that we're relying on to keep us safe. What does everyone say? Is this a government that you rely on in judgment, in ethics, in competence to keep you safe? I rather take care of that myself, to the extent that is possible. Oh. Someone says there was a man I interviewed who left and later was arrested by police, took a cyanide pill and died. Crazy sad. Well, there was that the Serbian guy who during his trial drank poison during the trial and died. I remember that. Couldn't believe the video that we were watching. So we got the car. We got the arrhythmia. I think that was. I think those were the stories for the day, people. Cardiologist Steve Bannon. Okay, no, this is another one. It's not funny, actually. We're gonna read this because MAGA Republicans are the threat, the existential threat to the soul of America. And we're just going to give a pass to those Democrat politicians who stab journalists to death because they don't like the stories that they wrote about them. Look at this.
Did you do this? Tell us anything?
Why did police tow away your vehicle?
Do you have a comment?
We're going to read the story just so you know the details, but this is you know what? Hold on. We'll read the article and then we'll get back to this because it's quite ironic. Police arrest county official, happens to be a Democrat, from what I understand. It's just funny that not enough people are talking about this. Clark County Public Administrator, get this out of here. Robert Tubbs was arrested on suspicion of murder Wednesday evening in the fatal stabbing of a Las Vegas Review-Journal reporter, Jeff German, whose investigation of the politician contributed to his primary election loss in June. The stunning development came a day. Just want to make sure that we're reading the same thing here. It came a day after Las Vegas police asked for the public's help in identifying a suspect in the case. On early morning, yada yada. Police arrived at Tellis's home on the Spanish Steps Lane in the Western Valley Wednesday and blocked off the nearby streets. Shortly before 9 a.m., police released a statement saying they were currently serving search warrants in connection with the homicide investigation. They provided no further information until Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo told the Review-Journal at around 6:30 that Tellis had been arrested. Shortly before that, a Review-Journal photographer captured an image of Tellis on a stretcher as he was loaded into an ambulance. Okay. That's the context. At around 5:45 p.m., an officer walked a young boy and girl, both wearing backpacks, across the street. Okay, Red Hills remain. Okay, whatever. Then you got a journalist who's going to this guy before he's been arrested, but after he's been interrogated, presumably, asking them, "Oh, something went wrong." Asking him if he did this. Something went wrong. Nerds. Okay. Gurman spent months reporting on the turmoil surrounding Tell's oversight of the public administrator's office. The 45-year-old Democrat lost his re-election bid in the primary after Gurman's findings were published. Gurman, or is it German? I'm an idiot. Also had recently filed public records requests for emails and text messages between Tellis and 3 other county officials. German, 69, was found dead on Saturday morning outside his northwest Las Vegas home. Police said he was fatally stabbed during an altercation the previous morning. Private services were held for him. Okay. So, it's a terrible story. And then you get this.
Comment?
This murder? Did you do this? Tell us anything?
Why did police tow away your vehicle?
Do you have a comment?
Journalists confronting the man, asking him if he killed a journalist who reported negatively on him and cost him his election. Yeah, man, that's gotta give credit to the journalist with the mic getting up in there to get the story, to get the question out. This was cleanup. He was an investigator on the level 27 on the LV shooting. Interesting. Okay. The Queen is dead. Long live the Queen. I don't want to say this. Did the Queen pass away? Last time someone did this with Betty White. Oh, mourning the monarch. Queen Elizabeth passes away at 96 with royal family by her side after battling with health issues. Well, people will mourn. You can't get much luckier than 96 years of life, passing away peacefully, surrounded by family. The Queen is dead. That was from, the first one was from Orenthal G. Mudbone. No, I just lost the first one. That one was from Orenthal G. Mudbone. We got Kenzie67 says, Queen Elizabeth II has died peacefully. Long live the King. Well, that's interesting. Okay, well, that'll be the news cycle for a little while. Everyone in the chat, don't worry, Viva, it's legit from Nature Love. I had heard the rumors that she was ill. We'll see what happens with the world now. I don't know what constitutional impact this has. Yeah. We'll see. It will definitely be in the news cycle for a little while. People. Oh, and I just got a notification from Nate the lawyer. He's live. Queen Elizabeth has died. Don't expect me to continue streaming about the Queen having passed. It's life is finite. To have lived to 96 years with the life of the Queen, you cannot ask for more out of life. When my grandmother died at 103, I think the only thing she could have asked for more out of life was not having had the senility issues for the last significant portion of her life, and to have lived a little longer with her husband, my grandfather, who passed away in 81. So my grandmother lived 81, 91, 01. She lived nearly 30 years without her husband. That's she was never bitter about it, never resentful, but she lived, I don't know if she lived longer without him than she was married to him, but if you're going to if you're going to say I have a source of complaint, that'll be it. Okay, let me just do one thing here. Share. I'm going to go share. I'm going to bring up my Twitter feed and make sure we've caught everything. And so far, the transition, people, from YouTube to Rumble, it's been good. Yesterday, we were just so short, like 170 people short of 10,000 live for the Sydney Watson live stream, and it was great. I heard my wife listening to the Sydney Watson live stream this morning. So it was great. But we'll work out the hiccups, the glitches, and whatever. People might not love the format because what I do now is tomorrow I publish this entire stream on YouTube. So there might be some overlap for the first 30 minutes and thumbnails and whatever, but it's beautiful. Let's see there. Just make sure we got everything. Just make sure we got all the news. Okay. Associated. Oh, this. Oh, I said it and I'll say it again. Politicians think they are the new gods. They think they are the new rock stars. AOC on the cover of GQ wearing $3,000 jackets in a photo shoot, taking pictures like she's Cleopatra reigning over the lowly citizenry. My father says, if you want to drive a Ferrari, don't become a teacher. And there's nothing wrong with being a teacher. It's a very noble thing. But if you want to live a life of a rock star, don't become a teacher. That's just period. If you want to live the life of a rock star and a god, you should not become a politician. The problem is, it's the new rock star. Politicians are the new celebrities. They're the new filthiest rich people on earth. They're the new most privileged class on earth. They are the new gods. They stand like gods. They act like gods, and they think they are above justice like gods. Look at this picture. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm not into these things anymore. I'm a married man. That part of my brain is shut off. This is self-idolatry. And then I tried to make a meme, but I suck. I mean, this is what it needed. So I took the arm out and then I rotated it and then I put a little cut out of a bolt. This is it. I am a god. Behold AOC. You lowly peasants. When I'm out there fighting for social justice, I got to look good. I got to wear a $3,000 Pula Schluler jacket, whatever the heck it was. They when I say they've lost touch, it's because they've lost touch. They view themselves as holier than thou, above all else, above all others. They view themselves as gods, and they erect monuments to themselves as though they were gods. TikTok. Okay. Oh, this was the picture of the arrest, by the way. So unclear if the individual took methamphetamines or OD'd, whatever. But that's the picture. And then the next thing is dead. Okay. Okay. We did. Oh, there's the jacket. Bronzer Schule. Oh, I wonder if Klaus Schwab likes his style. There you go. This is AOC. Looking like... okay. It's satire. It's satire. I don't know what just happened there. Doesn't matter. All right, people, we've covered it all. We've done it. We've talked about it. We've informed ourselves. We have enlightened ourselves. Thank you all for being here. I think we have some... we can't do a white pill every day, people. You know the rules. Conduct yourselves in such a way that would make your parents and your children, real or hypothetical, proud. You cannot go wrong. Do not succumb to primal urges to give the finger. Finger's relatively innocuous. Do not give them what they want, what you know they want, what they know you know they know they want. Do not give it to them. This is a battle of ideologies that can, in fact, be fought with and won by relentless, incessant mocking. Because if it didn't have an impact, they wouldn't lash out twice as harder afterwards. I see a Rumble rant from Noma. Viva, please notify Rumble live streams, including yours, are glitchy in some parts of the world. Have to use a VPN to hear smooth stream. Screen grab, and I will let Chris Pavlovsky know. Okay, good. People, what time is it? It's nearly 2 o'clock. I'm going to go have Red Bull or coffee or mate libre. What is it called? Yerba mate or yerba mate. Oh my God. So Mike, the V-dub, says, oh my God, she's so glamorous. Almost as glamorous as great leader Justin Trudeau. Complains about being sexualized. No, I'm not. No, you can't date me. Complains about being sexualized and then does an actual photo shoot so that people can say how beautiful she is. The same article was not particularly nice to, or did not characterize what Alex Stein Primetime 99 did. Apparently they were, taking it a little too seriously, or taking AOC's description of what Alex Stein did a little too literally. But it said no. The chat says no Red Bull. Okay, fine. Yerba mate. It'll be yerba mate. No, just dress. I'm a model. I'm a superstar. I'm a rock star. I'm a god. No, you're a congresswoman. The government are the servants of the people and not the other way around. And they've all forgotten it. Justin Trudeau running around with a $15,000 used. I don't know how much that watch cost new. Designer socks, $15,000 watches, jet setting around the world. It's not to be belittling or demeaning. They are servants of the people. They are public servants. That's what government is. You want to be a rock star? You want to wear $3,000, $15,000 jackets if you're Hillary Clinton's, in Hillary Clinton's shoes? Don't go into politics. That's not what it's for. That is what corrupts politicians. And that's why we've seen a level of insidious, pervasive corruption and hierarchy of the political class to the citizens they are supposed to represent. Okay, done. Rant over. With that said, people, go enjoy the day. Exercise. Talk to people out there. Exchange and interact with people in real life. People are beautiful. Life is beautiful. Don't forget it. Twitter is a cesspool of darkness, but it's a good place to get the news and material to react to. Go. Get out of here. Enjoy the day. See you tomorrow for sure. Peace. How do I end